is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
We welcome you from Petco Park in San Diego. Beautiful downtown setting on a Wednesday night. And we close out the month of September. We get ready for October. Told you there'd be October baseball this year. Zach Davies is on the mound for the Brewers. He's coming off a very good start against the Chicago Cubs, his last time out. It'll be his last start of 2015. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Petco. Great to have you with us. We're looking forward to this broadcast, this ball game. It's a beautiful night in San Diego. I'm with Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. We got Telly Hughes as our reporter tonight. So, Zach Davies trying to follow up what Jorge Lopez did last night. Lopez won in his Major League debut. Davies has probably shown enough to get a real significant look for next year's rotation, and this will be his last start of the year.
Yeah, it's been a nice run. You know, when he came up, he really didn't know what to expect out of Zach Davies. Not a big guy, looks very young, doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he's been impressive with his location and very good his last time out against the heavy-hitting Chicago Cubs. He picked up a win, his second of the year, 6 innings. 2 hits, did not allow a run. Good work by Zach Davies. The key for him in that start, only 1 walk. Previous 2 starts for Davies, he had walked 9 guys. Got to minimize that.
Well, we'll see if Davies can win his finale, and then he'll become a cheerleader the rest of the season. How about that first impression last night? Jorge Lopez at 22 years of age, his first big league win. Telly Hughes caught up with Lopez. He'll have that right after this.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The Brewers' bats barreled up to pick up the series opener over the Padres as the crew will take a swing at 3 wins in a row tonight in San Diego. Good evening from Petco Park, everyone. I'm Telly Hughes. Gene Segura's late Central Time Zone hour 2-run home run special last night helped lift Jorge Lopez to his first major league win in his big league debut, but Segura's long ball did not overshadow Lopez's first start. Jorge certainly pitched well enough to earn the victory and did so in impressive fashion, going 5 innings, allowing 3 runs on 8 hits en route to 7 strikeouts, leading Craig Counsell to say afterwards, quote, "is going to work," unquote. As for Lopez, 24 hours later, you still can't wipe the smile off his face.
It was amazing. You know, I got my family here. They were excited. I was excited too, you know. Take the opportunity, bring to here. So it was an amazing experience.
Your teammates showered you with a milk and ketchup bath. Have you ever had one of those before?
Never. I never thought they were going to do that, but, you know, that's one of the rules here. And you take that first win, so you have to taste it.
And how did you celebrate?
It was amazing. You know, I went to play the pizza place with my family and enjoy with them and, you know, try to like be happy all the time.
Can the Crew's all-rookie rotation cast keep it rolling to make it 3 straight wins? It's Zach Davies' turn to take the ball, and after the break, B.A. and Rock will be back with the call next from San Diego.
In San Diego, Brewers baseball tonight presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. 77 degrees. Game 2 of this 3-game series. The Brewers have one more game on their road schedule tomorrow, and then they return home to play the Chicago Cubs. Final 3 games of the regular season at Miller Park beginning on Friday night. Here are the Brewers tonight. A lineup turned in by Craig Counsell. Scooter Gennett leaves off, and then Logan Schaefer. Adam Lind will follow. You got the 3 lefties at the top. Chris Davis, Shane Peterson, and Gene Segura in the middle of the order. Hernan Perez will be at third base tonight. Martin Maldonado catches. Zach Davies on the mound for the Brew Crew tonight. And that's the batting order, Rock, that will face the hard-throwing former Cub, Andrew Cashner.
Yeah, big dude out there, 6'6", 205 pounds. He first appeared in the big leagues with the Chicago Cubs. Here with the San Diego Padres, you see his numbers, 6-15 and a 421 earned run average, and start number 31 tonight. And walks have been an issue for him his last 4 starts. He's walked 16 batters in 4 starts, so the Brewers need to be patient tonight.
And his first bolt at 93 miles an hour. Cashner has a fastball that can push into the upper 90s. Cashner was traded for Anthony Rizzo. That was a big deal that is paying huge dividends for the Chicago Cubs. That one's in there for a strike. Home plate umpire tonight is Corey Blazer. Carlos Torres, Laz Diaz, Jeff Nelson are the base umpires. Anytime Zach Davies is on the mound, it's always interesting to know who the home plate umpire is. Is he a pitcher-friendly umpire? Hitter-friendly umpire with a tight zone? Umpires don't like hearing that speak, but there are pitcher-friendly umpires out there, and Davies needs one to be effective. He had one his last start, and he carved up the Chicago Cubs for 6 shutout innings.
Yeah, Jeff Nelson last night had a very tight strike zone, and Davies is hoping that's not going to be the case tonight with Corey Blazer.
Scooter Gennett with a swing and a foul tip right into the middle of the catcher, and down he goes. And one away. The night begins with a strikeout for Cashner.
Yeah, the Padres about the middle of the pack defensively. As you check out the Menards Padres defense, they got the Upton brothers in left and center. Will Myers in right, Spangenberg at third. You got Barmes and Jerko up the middle. Jerko was at shortstop in last night's ball game. Derek Norris at first, and making his first major league start, Rocky Gale behind home plate.
With a nice pink finger polish on tonight, so Cashner can see those signals. Those are actually stickers, but it might as well be finger polish. Much easier to see on a night like this. Makes sense. Oh, Schaefer turns one around. That is way back, and that is a home run. Logan Schaefer thinks it's foul.
Yeah, it's a home run. Go get him, Logan.
Base umpire was circling the finger, and now Schaefer will take off. He had no idea where it was. And that ball was crushed by Logan Schaefer.
Wow.
And it's 1-0. Now all boundary calls are reviewable.
And you know that they're going to take a look at this one because everybody but the first base umpire thought that was a foul ball, including Logan Schaefer.
Well, let's see what we have here. Man, he really hit that ball.
And looking down that line and says, darn it, just missed it, but first base umpire is calling it fair.
Everybody in the Brewers dugout yelling out at Schaefer. See if the ball disappears here. That'll be the real key, and oof, it does. That appears to be a foul ball.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see it there.
Yeah, the umpire's going to take a look at it, and I think everybody in the ballpark except for Carlos Torres thought that was a foul ball.
So we will have an early replay review. This is not a challenge here. This is not a challenge by the Padres. This is a boundary call. This was the original replay rule, actually, before they expanded replay. All boundary calls are reviewable, home runs. And
well, how about the power for Logan Schaefer on that swing? We saw Segura hit a bomb in yesterday's ball game. And Logan Schaefer turns on one.
Yeah, I thought last night that was as far as we've ever seen Segura hit one, and then I'm trusting my own memory here, but I'm pretty sure that's as far as I've ever seen Logan Schaefer hit one right there.
Right, and let's hope it's fair. It doesn't look like it's going to be.
Looks like they might turn that one over. We'll see. The calling umpire was the first base umpire, Carlos Torres. Joining him is the third base umpire, Jeff Nelson, the taller of the two. And he'll have the call, the official call from New York. Putting in the late night hours with the West Coast game in New York.
Maybe got to wake them up first.
There are rumors that they're considering, baseball's considering a West Coast branch. And that would allow umpiring crews to pick up these West Coast games. And yeah, that's a great look at it.
That's really not even close. You wonder what's taking so long in New York to make the call. It clearly looked foul on that angle.
So it's going to be a strike I mean, if they want to look up here, we could let them know. Why don't you let them know, Rock?
Yeah, well, they're not looking up here.
All right, here's the call. So foul ball, hands in the air, indicates foul ball.
Yeah, so they jog around the bases for naught, and that's a bummer.
It's good practice, though. All right. It took nearly 2 minutes to review that. Wanted to make sure what the count is, which is 1-1. And Schaefer will start it over again. He was making a bid at his second home run of the season.
Couldn't believe he actually called it fair. I mean, if anybody will know, it's going to be the hitter.
There's a strike to make it 1-2.
Yeah, Cashner normally a fastball slider guy. I mean, he's got a curve on a changeup. Doesn't throw too many. But one of the reasons why he gets hit around as much as he does with that big fastball, pretty straight, gets a lot of the plate with the fastball.
Cashner has an impressive run going here at Petco Park. In his last 30 starts at Petco, he has an earned run average of .226. However, his win-loss record is 8-13 during that stretch. There's a shot past the third baseman Spangenberg. Going to get down into the corner. The speedy Schaefer on his way to second. Upton falls down, and now Schaefer on his way to third base. The throw there is not in time. Justin Upton fell down, and he looks like he's hurt. As Schaefer goes all the way to third.
Yeah, but never slowed down, and yeah, he's in a pile down there in foul territory in left field. Really couldn't see what happened. We lost sight of him down in the corner down there from where we're sitting. Well, they lost Matt Kemp in yesterday's ball game. He's got some hand soreness. And Logan Schaefer slaps that one just out of the reach of Spangenberg, so not a home run, but a triple perhaps. He hits his head on the padding.
Yeah, went head first into that padding. That could bring in a whole lot of problems there for Upton, who looks like he is in a lot of pain on the ground. His brother Melvin was the first one to him.
Now you got that padding along the walls, you know, in foul territory, but they're pretty stiff. I mean, they're not going to help you a whole lot. It's not like you're going to hit, you know, solid concrete, but it's still pretty firm along those lines, and I was just shaken up.
Manager Pat Murphy will join the fray over there. And you saw the athletic trainer squeezing his hands and down on his calves and his leg just to make sure he had feeling everywhere. Looks like he does. He was moving his legs, moving his hands.
And again, you figure that you know, Justin Upton may not be able to continue tonight. They lost Kemp in last night's ball game, so already playing shorthanded of the Padres. You hit your head, you get concerned about concussion, maybe hurt your neck. Anything could be going on right now.
That was a shot at Jankowski, who was the starting center fielder yesterday. It looks like he's preparing to come into the game. Well, they have let Justin sit up. And let's see how they try to remove him from the field. He's obviously not going to continue here. And out he goes. Well, I'm sure he'll be going through a full concussion protocol. It wasn't an incredibly violent collision with the wall, but it was awkward. You could tell that it was an awkward collision there. Head tilted to the side a little bit. So the Padres are going to rearrange their outfield now. Jankowski is going to come into play right field. That'll move Myers over to left field. And Melvin Upton will stay in the game and play center field, so that puts Jankowski in the cleanup spot. All right, so Justin Upton very slowly walking off the field here and gets a nice hand from the Padre fans on his way out.
Yeah, seemed a little bit dazed as he walked off the field, and you certainly hope he's going to be all right. He's having a nice year.
He's a free agent at the end of the season. Could very well be the last time he walks off the field in a Padre uniform. With 5 games to play, 4 after this one. So back at it we go. And after all of that, Logan Schaefer with a triple. And he's there with 1 out for Adam Lynn. Padres will bring their infield in on the right side. And Lynn sniffing an RBI chance once again. He drove 1 into the first inning yesterday. Now has 87 ribbies to go along with his 20 homers and a .284 batting average. Won't take much to get Schaefer home.
Another good year for Adam Lynn. He's been able to stay healthy. Knocking at the door at 90 RBIs. Hitters love this. Man at third, less than 2.
Wow, nice pick back there by Rocky Gale.
And that was a fastball. 96, able to pick it. First major league start for Gale behind home plate.
Already saved a run. It's like hitting a home run for a catcher.
Yeah, fair one.
Right. 2 balls and a strike on Lynn. And a swing and a miss. 2-2 now. Adam has rarely faced Cashner. Those two have been opposite leagues for their entire careers until this season. Lind is 0 for 3 career against Cashner. Runner at third, 1 out. The 2-2 pitch and a bouncer foul. Brewers saw Cashner earlier this season. He made a start against Milwaukee at Miller Park in August, early August. 6 innings, 2 runs in that game. And Lynn fouls it back.
And for his career 5th start against Milwaukee, he's 2-2. Pretty good earned run average at 3.33. He's also made 6 appearances out of the bullpen.
He's been that one unlucky pitcher in the Padres starting rotation. The Padres really struggle scoring runs when he's on the mound this year. Lynn grounds 1 foul again. Cashner owns a 3.21 run support average. 3 runs, little over 3 runs per start this year. It's the 2nd lowest average in the major leagues.
Yeah, so margin is pretty thin for Cashner when he goes out there on the mound.
Another foul ball by Lind. He's hanging tough.
Yeah, Padres don't score a whole lot. Cashner pretty good his last time out against the Giants. No decision. Gave up 2 runs, both coming in the first inning. And then able to settle down.
Yeah, so the worst run support in the league, Shelby Miller of the Braves, is number 1. That's a spot you do not want to occupy. Yeah, swing and a miss. Lind strikes out with a runner at third.
Just throwing that slider to Lynn, this time getting it down and away from Adam. He tried to pull it, swings right through it. Did you see who was third on that list? Ian Kennedy, tomorrow's starter.
That's right. 2 Padres in the top 3. Normally when you have that kind of statistic, you have pitchers with good ERAs and very poor win-loss records. Davis up there swinging away, first pitch, fouls it off. Chris Davis, the Brewers leader in home runs with 26. Craig Counsell was talking about Davis yesterday, that middle of the lineup power. Brewers feel confident that they are set in that regard leading up to next year. That's one area they do not have to go search. Expecting a healthy Braun to come back. Yeah, Chris Davis, who's got a chance at a 30 homer season this season despite missing a month and not playing much for another month. Domingo Santana's going to be in the mix. He looks like a guy that could hit 20, 25 homers. A swing and a miss. Cashner with a runner at third and one out has back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning, and the Brewers come up empty. There all year, and we appreciate that. No score. We head to the Padre half of the first inning now. Brewers with 3 strikeouts in the first inning around a triple. Pat Murphy and the Padres, former Notre Dame coach, Arizona State, and the San Diego Padres will face Zach Davies tonight, coming off his best start as a big leaguer his last time out against the Cubs.
Yeah, 5 starts, 3 of them have been pretty good. He's got a 2-2 record. You know, that 467 earned run average went down considerably after his last start, a win against the Cubs at Wrigley. No runs in 6 innings, only walked 1. That's been an issue for Davies, the walks. 2 starts before that, walked a combined 9.
Corey Spangenberg leads off tonight for the Friars. In the game at third base here tonight, and a swing and a foul out of play. So here's the Potawatomi batting order for Murphy. He's got Spangenberg, Norris, Myers, Travis Jankowski now will hit cleanup. Justin Upton leaving due to injury. Jed Jerko, Melvin Upton, Armascale, and Cashner rounded out. Murphy's got his pitcher batting 9th once again. Pitcher hit 8th yesterday, Tyson Ross. Good win for the Brewers yesterday. A little comeback win for Milwaukee. 2-run home run by Gene Segura in the 6th inning allowed him to come back and win the game by a final of 4-3.
Once again, the bullpen shutting down the opposition. And Lopez only going 5. Bullpen's been used quite a bit on this road trip.
Good changeup and a swing and a miss, a strikeout for Davies. That's his signature pitch from what we've seen so far.
Normally he's going to get a lot of ground ball out, so you got to have good defense behind him. And Menard's Brewers defense tonight: Davis, Schaefer, and Peterson in the outfield. You got Hernan Perez at third, Segura and Jeanette up the middle, Adam Lind at first, and Martin Maldonado did a great job with Lopez in last night's ball game behind home plate.
All right, here's Derek Norris playing first base tonight. And he takes a strike from Davies. That game yesterday, the Brewers won it 4-3. Jorge Lopez with his first major league win. And Francisco Rodriguez with his 38th save. K-Rod is now in a realistic position at a 40 save season this season. Excellent interview with Telly Hughes today. Enjoyed hearing from Lopez, who got a ketchup and milk shower in the clubhouse after his win last night. Can't douse him with alcohol anymore, so it was ketchup and milk.
Yeah, well, Zach Davies got the same treatment in Miami. He got his first win. And then after the ketchup and milk bath, he went out to a pizza place. I like it.
I like it too. And you go from one 22-year-old starting pitcher to another. In Davies, who came to the Brewers from the Baltimore Orioles this year in the Gerardo Parra deal.
Well, he has been everything the Brewers said he was going to be. You know, first of all, you look at him and you say, this kid looks awfully young. He can't possibly be ready for the big leagues. But once you see him pitch, you forget all about that.
Slow roller, that's going to roll foul.
His poise out there, the way he handles himself, he doesn't ever seem to be in a panic. Tries to attack the strike zone. He's got that terrific changeup. I think the Brewers would like to see him throw a few more curveballs. Fastball, changeup, and a very, very occasional curveball. I'd like to see him throw a few more.
Well, both of his wins as a big leaguer have come on the road. And he is already making his 4th start on the road. He didn't make his first major league start until September 2nd. That was a home game against the Pirates. This will be his 2nd start on this road trip, and he's not going to get a home start. This will be his last start. The Brewers are into the rotation window. Jorge Lopez, it was announced today by Craig Counsell, will start Sunday's game, the finale against the Cubs Sunday afternoon.
It's a late start on Sunday. A 2:10 start.
Yes, don't forget, all games start at the same time across all Major League Baseball. In case there are pennant implications, which it doesn't look like there's going to be in the National League, but all games will begin 2 o'clock Central. So it's an hour later than you're used to. But I hope you make it out to Miller Park and enjoy Brewers baseball one last time with us. Enjoy Miller Park before they close it down for the winter. Ground ball to short, right at Segura. And there is the 2nd out. That's the first out. That is not a strikeout in this game between Cashner and Davies.
And that's what he needs to do, keep that two-seamer down. Every now and again, he's going to cut the fastball. Not sure he does it by design. Sometimes the pitcher, you know, in his delivery, just pull it a little bit, and it will get a little bit of a cut action. But his bread and butter is that sinker to get some ground ball outs. And not afraid to come inside. That's what you like about him. We saw that from Lopez yesterday. Not afraid to come inside and attack on the inside part of the plate. Davies does the same.
So 2 outs. Here is Will Myers. We saw this a lot against the Pirates, and certainly that video is out there because a lot of batters are stepping out on Zach Davies. They want to try to disrupt his timing a little bit. One thing that you love about Davies is his tempo and his feel for the game. He works fast, extremely fast. Knows he's got to keep the hitters a little bit in go mode and try to keep them off balance. It keeps his defense, which is at a premium with a guy like Davies. It keeps them on their toes. And when he's pitching well, the game has a really good old school pace to it.
Yeah, Pirates stepped out on 5 times, and every time home plate umpire allowed it. Don't have to give him time that often. You're in that box, the bat's up, you're ready to go. You shouldn't be able to call timeout.
Fly ball foul on a fastball. That's about the extent of the fastball for Davies. He's 90-91 tops, but his changeup makes that fastball play here in the big leagues, and it's got a lot of movement on it. One ball, 2 strikes on Myers, and he missed outside. He went back to the heat. Start number 6 in the big leagues for Davies, and he showed himself very well this season after the trade. Had a really good year going at AAA for the Orioles. That was at Norfolk. Ground ball, backhanded. Segura, long throw right on the money. Boy, Segura's really playing great defense in this series. Made it look easy. 3 up, 3 down for Davies. We head to the 2nd.
nice evening here in San Diego. What do we got? Convention Center?
Right there. I walked that bridge yesterday.
I was walking the stairs today.
Yeah, the stairs through the convention center. That is a great workout.
Yeah.
And right on the marina. Some impressive looking ships over there. Shane Peterson leads off for the Brewers here in the second inning.
See the size of some of those yachts?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Those yachts have boats on them.
Right.
They just store the boats on the yachts. Jet skis. And
I mean,
you could live out there for a few
real
months.
boats on them.
Right.
I mean, those are like the emergency vessels.
Right. I'd
take one of those. They're not those inflatable dinghies that you see around the bay. And a lot of money around here.
A swing and a miss, and Cashner is racking them up early. His fourth strikeout. All four of his outs have been via the K.
Hey, reserve your spot at Miller Park for the final series of the season as the Brewers close out the year with a weekend series against the Chicago Cubs this coming Friday, October 2nd through Sunday the 4th. And remember, the 4th is a 2 o'clock start, 2:10. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today.
Here's Gene Segura. Had a big hit last night. Matter of fact, he drove in 3 runs last night. Had a double in his first at bat, and then he did this. Powerball home run number 6. Went up there in the second level of the warehouse.
That pitch wasn't even a strike. I mean, he turned on that baby, able to keep it fair.
That put the Brewers on top. They would not surrender the lead. That made it 4-3, which is how it finished.
I think Segura's playing his best baseball of the year right now.
I think you're right.
I mean, offensively and defensively, he's really done a nice job to keep his focus through the month of September.
One-two pitch to Segura. Chops it foul. Now, it just seems like there's a little bit of urgency in his game defensively here recently. And he's made some spectacular plays already. Brewers are encouraging Segura not to play winter ball for the second consecutive year. That's been a part of his off-season ritual, but last year held off, and he's come back. He's had a good year. But he's a shortstop that plays just about every day. And the Brewers want him to go rest.
Yeah, this is game number 139 for Segura. About 550 at-bats already. Don't need it. Need the rest.
Pack it in ice, get ready for spring training.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure on Latin players, especially Dominican players, when they go back home, though, to play professionally in the Caribbean leagues, winter leagues. This is going to be the first non-strikeout out.
Yeah,
Segura pops up.
Yeah, they're expected to play in their native countries in the offseason.
Yeah, considered to be a little bit of a traitor.
Yeah, disc. Kind of like not feeling as though you need to play, but that's the kind of pressure these guys are on over there in those, Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and places like that. They're expected to, no matter how much they played in the offseason or the regular season, they're expected to play in the winter.
Perez at the plate.
Don't have to play all year down in winter ball, but they're expected to get some action.
Ground ball up the middle, and that's going to sneak through. A base hit for Perez. Hernan with a 2-out single.
Stayed back nicely on that breaking ball. Slider that stayed up in the strike zone. Didn't try and pull it. Rewarded with a base hit. I played in Puerto Rico in 1983. And those guys over there are cult heroes when they go back and they play in winter ball.
Sure.
I mean, those guys they own the place. And that's why they're expected to play, and that's why these guys want to play.
Well, baseball, such passion down there. Speaking of Puerto Rico, Maldonado, that's where he's from, and he's able to drop one in. A base hit. Perez all the way to third base. So Maldonado swinging away at the first pitch, and a single. And 2 men are on. with 2 outs, 1st and 3rd.
And Melvin Upton not getting a very good jump. He went across initially and then decided better come in. Wasn't hit that hard. It wasn't hit as hard as he thought it was. Then a misplay, and Maldonado gets a base hit.
And if you're just joining us, Melvin's brother, Justin, had to leave this game, collided with the wall on a fly ball. That was, or on picking up a base hit, I should say. No report yet on Justin Upton. Padres lost Kemp last night. A hand injury. He might be done for the season. Might not see him back. He drove in his 100th run of the year last night, and then he was out. Davies bounces to short, and that will retire the side. But the Brewers do get a couple of hits. They clear the pitcher spot, and we're headed to the bottom of the 2nd in a scoreless game. Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. No score, bottom 2nd from San Diego. And a reminder, you can join Fox Sports Wisconsin for the Milwaukee Bucks 3rd annual Open Practice and Fan Fest. It's Saturday, October 3rd. It starts at 9:30 a.m. This free event begins with the Bucks Open Practice at 10:30 a.m. Immediately followed by Fan Fest, where you can grab autographs and photos with current players, coaches, and broadcasters. Shoot free throws on the Bucks' new court. You can record a free sports update at the Fox Sports Wisconsin Be a Sports Anchor booth, and much more. Visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the upcoming events tab for details. We wish the Bucks good luck as they get ready for the 15-16 NBA campaign.
Expectations are going to be a little bit higher for them. They kind of snuck up on teams last year. That won't happen again.
Travis Jankowski will start the inning for San Diego. He came in for Justin Upton in the 1st inning after Justin was injured. So he's hitting cleanup, which is an unusual spot for Jankowski. Davies went through the order 1, 2, 3 with 2 ground outs to short in the 1st inning. Ooh, it didn't miss by much.
That's the one you were talking about in the first inning. You know, those very close pitches on the corners, the ones that Zach Davies needs to get. That might have been a little bit off the plate. There it is.
3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. He threw him a power sinker there at 89 miles an hour. Ball had some dive down in the strike zone.
Yeah, two-seamer, 89 miles an hour. There you see it, and Jankowski a little over aggressive, swinging the pitch out of the zone. He knew it.
And so the second strikeout for Davies. And that'll bring up Jed Jerko now. Same pitch. Miss low. Congratulations are in order. Two more division champs today. The Toronto Blue Jays clinched the American League East. Blue Jays returning to the postseason for the first time since '93, when they were back-to-back World Series champions. So the Blue Jays outlast the Yankees in the AL East, and the Cardinals win their third straight division title as Jerko bounces one through a base hit. Clean single for Jed Jerko, and a man on the first base hit. First base runner for the Friars.
A 2-0 fastball. That's what Davies has to avoid, getting behind the count. You know, 2-0, 3-1. Fastball out over the plate. Jerko hit it hard into left field. Yeah, champagne flying with the Toronto Blue Jays, not ketchup and milk.
Now the Cardinals had a doubleheader today against the Pirates. They went into that doubleheader after their postponed game yesterday, and lost the first game to Garrett Cole, which kept their magic number at 2. But they won the second game. It was a blowout win for St. Louis, and a pretty subdued celebration for the Cardinals as they beat the Pirates 11-1. Tyler Lyons, who is in the rotation now for Carlos Martinez, got the win. It's a base hit by Upton. So back-to-back singles, and the Padres with 2 men aboard and just 1 out.
Yeah, not enough on that fastball to get it up in the zone like that, down in the count 1-0. So last 2 hitters, Zach Davies getting behind in the count, and the Padres have made him pay with fastballs, and just can't live behind in the count. It's such a fine line between strikes and balls for Davies on those corners, keeping it down. That's why he had the 9 walks in back-to-back starts. 2 games in a row, combined 9 walks. He knows he can't live down the middle, so he's got to be on the corners. When he's not, either gets behind the count, gives up hits, or walks batters.
2 on for Clint Barmas. Former Rocky, and had some time with the Pirates. Padres desperate for a shortstop. They're still on the hunt for an everyday shortstop for the future, but Barmas gets a start there tonight. Jed Jerko started at shortstop last night. Other games we're watching tonight with postseason implications. The Astros and the Mariners are in Seattle. Seattle has a 2-0 lead in the 3rd inning of that game. Astros are desperate for a win. Rangers are winning right now. They have a 6-2 lead over the Tigers in the 7th. They're trying to maintain their spot in the American League West as division leaders. Barmas pops this one up. Coming in is Peterson. That's Jeanette out, and he's got it for out number 2. And the runners have to stay put.
Yeah, such a difference when Davies gets ahead in the count. That was a 1-2 count. He got behind with a curveball, then made 2 pretty good pitches with a fastball. He got Barmas to pop up. Ahead in the count or behind in the count, it makes a big difference for Zach Davies.
So 2 men are out, and here is Rocky Gale. Man after your own heart, Rocky.
Making his first major league start.
That's what Uke calls Bill Schroeder. We all call him Rock, but Bob Uecker calls him Rocky. Hey, Rocky. Well, it's perfect for this guy.
Right.
It's his real name.
Looking for his first hit. Another thing I have in common with him.
Still waiting. Now Davies will try to delay that first hit. Don't want to give it up here with runners at first and second. All right. Another small framed catcher. There are many of those popping up over the last few years.
Man, you wonder why, right?
Used to be that Jason Kendall was one of the few, right? He was one of the few small frame catchers you see, more athletic, and a guy that actually hit leadoff. Lucroy's one of those guys.
He moves around really, really well. Quick on his feet. And the Mike Mathinis of the world, and Sandy Alomar, big guys. Lance Parrish, Carlton Fisk.
Little tapper. Oh, nice play by Davies. Recovers to get the out. Heck of a play right there. He is a very good fielder, and he showed some of those skills there. So, a couple of hits. He strands them both, and Davies off to a good start. He's got a lot of movement on his fastball tonight, huh? Inning. October is here tomorrow, and October means baseball, and FS1 continues to be your home for postseason action with the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins October 8th on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So looking forward to that. There is a great race going on in the AL West and the AL Wild Card. Astros are losing right now. Angels already lost. And that puts the Twins.
They split their doubleheader.
Yeah, they split a doubleheader to Cleveland. They're a half game back. Jeanette swinging at the first pitch. That's gloved out there by Barmas, but no chance for an out. And that'll be an infield hit for Scooter Jeanette. And the Brewers now with their fourth hit. Yeah, who's got the finishing kick in the last 4 games of the year, right?
Yeah.
Astros could, with a win tonight, could jump back over the Angels. Astros are in Seattle and are losing right now. Twins are the team that keeps hanging around, though. Every time you want to write them off, Paul Mahler's club is still there. And in the American League West Division race, Texas up 2.5 on the Astros. That could go to 3.5 tonight if the scores hang on as they are. Rangers leading, Astros losing.
Rangers and Angels finish up the season with a 4-game series. Man, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. Keep an eye on that.
Well, there is room for a tiebreaker. You have to have a tiebreaker to determine division winners versus wild card teams. Now, if two teams are in the wild card against each other, then you don't need a tiebreaker to play for that spot. You just go on the head-to-head matchup. But if you have two teams that tie for the second wild card spot, then you would need a tiebreaker to determine the winner there. And then you go right into the wild card game. That's what happened a couple of years ago with the Rangers and the Rays, who tied for the second wild card spot. Tampa Bay went on to beat the Rangers, travel to Cleveland, beat the Indians in the wild card game, and then entered into the League Division Series against Boston.
Makes it a little bit more difficult, but at least you're in, right?
At least you're in, and then anything can happen. Schaefer fouls it back. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Logan, who had a triple his last time up and missed a home run by inches a couple of pitches prior to that triple. Matter of fact, it was called a fair ball homer when it left. Just missed the foul pole, and then when they went to a crew chief review, they overturned it into a strike.
And Logan Schaefer begrudgingly circled the bases. He knew it was a foul ball. He knew it was going to be a foul ball ultimately.
It was a bomb. It's worth another look. Columbia St. Mary's, and clearly a foul ball, but
it was worth a 2-minute look in New York.
And then shortly thereafter, slapped one down the line. This was the play that Justin Upton was injured on as well. Triple for Schaefer. Runner goes. 3-2 is fouled off. Jeanette on the move for the second consecutive pitch.
Yeah, Schaefer was at third base with only 1 out, and then Cashner got back-to-back strikeouts, Lind and Davis. And Brewers had a golden opportunity to take a lead in the first inning.
Jeanette got caught leaning, and he's out. Wipes out an infield hit to start it.
Yeah, can't let that happen. It's more of a running hit than it is a straight steal. Watch the flinch towards second base. Doesn't take much. Kind of an interesting way he went back. I mean, you could see the way Norris is blocking off first base just a touch. Not sure why he went back that way. He jumps up in the air. If he goes flat on the ground, he might be able to get back safely. That was a crazy looking slide back to first base.
And now Schaefer draws the walk. Schaefer on twice.
Those are the things that drive Craig Counsell nuts. You get a base hit to start the inning. You think things are looking pretty good. You get Schaefer, ultimately gets a walk, but Jeanette gets picked off. You know, mistakes that shouldn't be made. Brewers got to clean that up going into next year.
Well, I talked to Craig Counsell about his year this year, first year manager, taking over for Ron Renicky, who's now part of the Los Angeles Dodgers coaching staff. He's a third base coach, and he'll be in the postseason. But you know, Counsell is managing games. He's managing to win, obviously, but this is evaluation mode for him, bench coach Jerry Narron, and they are very excited and eager to get to spring training next year. Counsell wants to get his plan, his philosophy. That's when you do those kind of setups in spring training, and that's where, you know, Counsell even talks about it. That's where you set the tone of the expectations. He's had a number of meetings with his players, but the Brewers are in a position now after all the trades and all the changes, just trying to, you know, they took a shot at it. Hiring Counsell ended up as a 500 team, and then they made all the trades. Lynn bounces into a double play. So an infield hit and a walk in the inning, but the Brewers wipe them both out with a pickoff and a double play.
Scoreless as Zach Davies gets set to work his third inning of work in his sixth and final big league start of the season. And I had a chance to talk to Zach yesterday, and don't let the calm, cool, collected Zach really fool you, because he said he is having a blast at the big league level. But I also had a chance to ask him, what has he learned about himself in his 5 starts leading into tonight's ball game? What has he learned about himself? And he said, I have learned that I have the stuff to compete at this level, and that feels really good heading into the offseason, knowing that I can survive and thrive at this level.
Well, he's made adjustments, too. I mean, he's had a couple of rough starts. His first one, not too bad, but the numbers really don't bear out a good start. His only real bad start came against the Pirates. 6 runs allowed, and other than that, he's been pretty good, and he's been able to make adjustments. And the one thing that, as we mentioned before, the one thing the Brewers would like to see a little bit more from Zach is his curveball. For some reason, he doesn't want to throw it too often.
Well, when he was in the Orioles organization, Buck Showalter always commented on Zach that he was one of the great competitors that they had. There's a curveball. That's a dandy. And he strikes out Cashner. Sometimes the pitcher's at the plate, you can
work on
find out where your curveball really is. That was as good as it gets.
Yeah, that'll get any hitter, not just a pitcher, that one.
Yeah, third strikeout for Davies. But, yeah, Buck Showalter always very complimentary. And after the Brewers made the trade, Showalter contacted Doug Melvin and said, look, you're getting a real solid major league starter here. He's a guy that could lock down the back end of a rotation for a long time. He's a great competitor. Don't let that boyish look fool you.
I just like the way he stands out there in the pitching rubber, doesn't move up the mound too much, and just gazes in with a lot of confidence.
His mechanics are just pure, aren't they? I mean, he just looks real oily out there. Just
effortless.
Everything's smooth and easy. Same with Jorge Lopez last night.
Kind of the same guy, Lopez and Davies, except for Lopez will give you about 5 more miles an hour.
Yeah, it makes a lot of difference.
It does. But I think Davies has a much better changeup. Lopez working on his. It's getting better.
Now Jorge, the Brewers minor league pitcher of the year. He made his major league debut last night. He got a win, and he has earned another start in the big league Sunday. As Davies misses. So Spangenberg draws the walk. That's the first walk given up by Davies to go along with 2 hits allowed.
Second time through this Padres order. We'll see what kind of adjustments the Padres make. We saw them make big time adjustments last night against Lopez. They'd never seen Jorge First time through pretty good for Lopez. Second time not so much.
Here's Derek Norris. Norris has caught more games than any other Padre this year. Brought in to be their everyday catcher. Runner goes. Maldonado's throw right on the bag in time for the out. Martin Maldonado guns down Spangenberg trying to steal.
And you credit Zach Davies with an assist right there, getting rid of that ball quickly. Spangenberg on a first pitch, and Maldonado able to erase him with a throw right on the bag. Check it out. I mean, you can't throw it any better than that, not even close. Out number 2 had a pretty good lead, good jump. He looks in and knows he's in trouble right away.
Well, what an arm Maldonado possesses. So that has Norris at the plate with the bases empty now and 2 away.
Quick feet, that's where it starts for Martin Maldonado.
Norris hasn't been able to quite match the numbers he put up last year as a member of the Athletics. He was an all-star last year, part of that Oakland A's postseason team that lost in the wild card game to the Royals. That was a December trade. Padres needed a catcher and picked him up. Broken bat sounded like. Norris is out. Inning is over. A caught stealing makes it a 3-batter inning for Zach Davies. 3 in the books in San Diego. No score. Got a good pitchers duel going. 2 pitchers that go about their business much different ways. Powerball home run leaderboard. The Brewers power brokerage. Davis leads the club. Braun's done for the year, finishing with 25, and Adam Lynn sitting on 20. And Davis will lead off for the Crew. First pitch in there, strike 1 from Cashner.
You got pretty good odds, you know, if you were to say that Chris Davis would lead the team in home runs around mid-July.
Right.
I mean, honestly.
As of August 5th,
yeah,
he would have been laughed at.
Incredible run that he's been on.
Chris Davis had 7 home runs after play August 5th. And then the home runs started to come with much frequency.
Yeah, one after the other, sometimes 2 a night.
Had a 10 home run month of August. He's hit 9 in September. He's averaging a home run about every slightly less than 9 at bats. And that's a phenomenal rate for Davis. And you say, well, there's 5 games left, 4 after tonight. It's going to be tough for him to hit 30. But he hits them in bunches, and as he strikes out here on Cashner.
Got a number of 2 home run games this year.
They just had one on Sunday in St. Louis.
Is that 3 or 4, isn't it? 4 or 5?
Yeah, 5 multi-homer games.
Yeah.
But he is the 5th strikeout for Cashner, first out of the 4th.
He's having a difficult time with that slider from Cashner, as are a lot of the Brewer hitters. That pitch there.
Shane Peterson struck out in the 2nd. That had been the last strikeout for Cashner until just a moment ago. And Peterson into right center with a base hit. That's going to get into the gap. Peterson on his way to 2nd. Here's Jankowski's throw, and Peterson is in there. A hustle double by Shane Peterson.
Yeah, right out of the batter's box. He was thinking too. Good speed, cut first base pretty clean, and pretty good throw by Jankowski out and right. Right on the money on a hop. Made it close, but Peterson able to beat it. He got one in on his hands, but able to pull the hands in and barrel it up, and a 1-out double.
So Peterson into scoring position. Brewers have had a runner in scoring position on 3 occasions tonight. Had a triple with 1 out in the 1st by Schaefer. Put a runner at 3rd in the 2nd inning with 2 outs. Perez. And now a Peterson double sets up Segura.
Yeah, Brewers didn't have many opportunities last night, but they were 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position, including that Segura home run.
Oh boy, look out. Coming in hot. Came away empty. The difference between a grown-up and a child. Grown-up doesn't get up from that collision with the wall right there.
Yeah.
The kid just
He's still trying to get
back.
up. He's still trying to straighten up.
Grown-up doesn't even go after a ball with that kind of speed. Yeah, he got it. Immediately took it from his sister. She's taking it back. She says, look, a signature. Some guy named Rob signed it.
Take the dirt off. That's what she's saying. Clean it up.
Slow roller, 3rd base. Spangenberg's throw is high and safe. Norris tried to get the tag down. He thinks he got him. He's asking his manager to take a look at this one.
And he wound up big time Spangenberg and almost airmailed it, but Derek Norris able to grab it. And it looks like Murphy wants the umpires to take a look at it. Does he tag him as Segura goes by? Does he get him?
I don't know.
Not sure on that angle. Can't tell. That'll be an E5 right now.
You know, they just showed an angle here in the stadium that would indicate he is out.
This is it right here. This is the angle. Does Norris get him on the helmet?
Right there, foot not on the bag. Yep.
I don't know. Does he?
Well, I mean, there's one more look at it.
Is that clear enough on that angle? I don't know if it is.
There's one more look at it that I believe Padres television had. We'll see if we can grab it and show you. But it did pretty easy call that the tag went on the helmet before the foot was on the bag.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything to this point that would indicate that the tag was made. There's got to be others, as you mentioned, but we'll see.
Umpires will take a look at it. It's a Padres challenge here. There have been 2 reviews. Crew chief review the first time on the home run ball. Yeah, that's the one right there.
Does he get him?
Yeah. See, by the way, the glove collapses.
The other thing is, where's the foot? Is the foot down?
So back to the headsets go Corey Blazer, or rather Jeff Nelson. And he's got his answer from New York, and out is the call. So Segura's an out on a 5-3 put out.
I'm going to tell Segura I was trying to help him.
You were. I don't think they'd listen to the games, though. We asked that when we went into the replay center last year. We said, hey, you guys, do we have any influence on you at all? Because we'd like to know that before we.
Hey, Gene, I said you were safe. BA was calling you out the whole time.
So on the play, Peterson goes to third. And now 2 men are out for Hernan Perez.
That's one of those where you want to slide into first base.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the few times that you want to go down and slide, but I think Segura had that thought a little bit too late.
Well, it's a good play by Norris. Normally a catcher.
It's all instincts. You know, you go off the bag, you catch the ball, and you try and get him with the tag, and Norris did a nice job with it that time.
There's the big fastball we've been waiting for. 98 miles an hour from Cashner. He is a menacing presence on the mound. Perez slices it foul in the seats.
I think everybody shifted around as if Perez was a left-handed pull hitter. I'll tell you, Myers is playing in left center. Not expecting Perez to pull the ball at all. Look at that.
And a swing and a miss. Down he goes. A strikeout. Number 6 for Cashner. Inning is over. Brewers strand another in scoring position. Bad here at Petco Park. Our Carsoup.com trivia tonight. Who was the first Brewers pitcher to start and win in his major league debut? The first Brewers pitcher. So we're thinking maybe 1970? Or are we going back that far?
Could be.
First year of the franchise in Milwaukee. Could be a trick question, but it did say Brewers, not Pirates.
Right.
So
Yeah.
didn't say franchise. We'll see how frisky Brian Mikulajic is feeling with the trivia tonight.
Feeling a little paranoid, aren't you? They're trying to trick you. You think?
I think it's the sunburn that's affecting
Did you see him today?
Will Myers leads off, takes a ball low. Yeah, BMEC had a little nice little round at Torrey Pines, which we were not invited to, but he forgot his sunscreen and his headwear. It's Tomato Head.
I'll tell you, he was red. He's very pale to start with, and any kind of sun is going to give him a negative look. But that was a sun beatdown today.
It's not advisable.
Got to be sun smart.
Got to be. There's a called strike 3. Myers is rung up. 4th strikeout for Davies. Boy, he was just attacking the strike zone.
That's what we're talking about, inside corner. That late movement started like it had plenty of the plate, but that late movement caught the edge at the knees. Love the way he pitches inside. I mean, it's only 90 miles an hour, but you got to keep him honest off the outside corner by coming in once in a while for strikes.
Jankowski shows bunts right through it for a strike. It's a lineup without Justin Upton and Matt Kemp. Kemp, their top RBI man, who drove in his 100th last night before leaving with a hand injury. Justin Upton was injured in the first inning tonight. Their two best power hitters. Still no word yet from the Padres clubhouse on Justin Upton, not that we've heard. Apparent head or neck injury as he crashed into the wall.
Well, the guy's still playing hard, and Upton right into the wall in foul territory.
Three-one pitch, lined into left center, a base hit. Jankowski stayed right on it. He'll be held to a single.
Yeah, all three hits against Davies have come on pitches when he's been behind in the count. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner, Little Brown Jug Saloon in Sturgeon Bay. You know, that's the trophy for, you know, between Michigan and Minnesota. You know, football.
Yeah.
Little Brown Jug. Not the same thing.
It's the oldest trophy in college football.
There you go. You heard the same thing, didn't you? Hey, if the Tavern Contact calls the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April and May 2016 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You know the history behind that Little Brown Jug?
No, I do not.
Michigan went to Minnesota to play a game, and now, you know, Michigan a little paranoid like you were about the trivia question. About, you know, the Minnesota football team messing around with their drinking water, so they brought their own.
Brought their own Little Brown jugs.
And then after the game, the Minnesota players stole the jug.
I see.
So they started to play that series to take the Little Brown Jug back.
That is fascinating. I never knew the story behind that, Rock.
I didn't either.
I didn't think I was going to get that during a Brewers broadcast tonight. That sets me up for college football really well. I'm excited about it.
Why you got to be that way?
No, I'm not being that way.
No, that's sarcastic.
That's not.
It is.
I did not expect you on the last day of September to be peeling off next level stories like that.
Hey, you know, you're working, you got to put out the effort.
Jerko at the plate takes a strike from Davies. I can't wait for the next morsel that you're going to offer us.
Well, if it has something to do with the Tavern of the Game, I'll impart some information.
That is true. You do invest many, many layers to the Tavern of the Game, whether it be the bar itself or the city or the town.
Many, many pints, cans. Yep, a lot of investment.
I thought they were playing for the Sturgeon Jug. I didn't.
Little Brown Jug. Now you know.
As Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. Ask your grandparents, kids.
It's good to have a Michigan alum that's so in tune with what's going on in our truck.
Who's that?
Brad Weimer, our producer.
Went to Michigan, did he?
Wears Michigan baseball hats all over the town, and doesn't wear those, you know, in any sport other than football.
Does he wear khakis? Harbaugh khakis?
Yeah.
Runner goes. Swinging a grounder foul.
He had khaki shorts on at lunch today.
It was a television first today. The production crew bought our lunch today. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that's something.
Thank you very much. Off the dollar menu, it was outstanding. Now it's one of our favorite fish taco spots here. The tin fish.
Yeah, good. It's legit.
You're going to have to write a book one day, Rock, about all your favorite stops around the league.
I will.
Ground ball to third. Perez got a chance here. Goes to second for one. Jeanette with the turn and a double play. Well, Scooter Gennett hanging right in there, and the Brewers go around the horn. They turn 2. And the inning is over. Wipes out a 1-out single. Inning. It is now time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag #WishDanaStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Petco Park, San Diego, game 2 of this series. Brewers won last night. First ball swinging Maldonado, and Spangenberg will take care of him.
Another high throw. This time Norris able to handle it, keeping his foot on the bag. Got a good arm, winds up, and almost airmailed the first one, but able to get the out that time.
So that'll bring up Davies now, the Brewer pitcher. He's working on 4 shutout innings on the mound, giving him 10 consecutive shutout innings, and just got a double play to get out of the.
Yeah. A very slow developing double play. Check out Jerko as he runs down the line. Yeah. Looks like Gennett, his footwork got messed up a little bit. Jerko kind of nonchalant down the line. Brewers able to turn 2.
That's a very unorthodox way to make the pivot at second base.
Yeah, just a little bit off balance.
I'm sure Gennett had some splaining to do when he got into the dugout. When his manager was a middle infielder and a very good one.
Yeah. Sometimes you kind of drift over to the bag and expect a perfect throw. If it's offline a little bit and you're not there waiting for it and trying to turn the double play, it can get a little bit off balance. In Scooter's defense, the throw could have been a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And Cashner out on the mound thinking, this is nothing new. I'm pitching well. I have no runs.
That's exactly the way it's been for him all year. Second fewest run support in the big leagues. Ground ball, slowly hit. Barmes right through his legs and into the outfield, and Davies will reach.
Yeah, lifted his head right under the glove. That'll be an error on Clint Barmes. Almost an error on Spangenberg last inning. He got the out on a review. That'll be an E6. About as routine as it gets. A couple of hops.
Yeah, hit the lip.
And stayed down, and that'll be an E6. So a base runner from Milwaukee.
Hit the lip and stayed down, and the Brewers have a man on. And Gennett fouls it away. Clint Barmes has had an interesting career. He was a very talented shortstop coming up in the Rockies minor league system and thought to be the shortstop of the future, and he finally got his chance in 2006. He made it to the big leagues in 03, but got a regular opportunity every day in 06. But the next year There was a shortstop coming up through the system and made it to the big leagues in Colorado. That was Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, that didn't last long for Barmas.
So they moved Barmas to second base, and that was a team in '07 that went to the World Series in Colorado with Barmas and Tulowitzki as the keystone combination. Two outstanding defenders. As Jeanette strikes out, Cashner's been able to get the K whenever he's needed it. That's his 7th already.
Hey, most of the strikeouts have come on the slider that time. You know, a high fastball to get Jeanette.
Well, here is Logan Schaefer, who has not been retired tonight. A triple and a walk at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Deep center field, way back there. Melvin Upton Jr. will run it down. Boy, Schaefer hit it a long way. Wrong part of the ballpark. Upton fetches it for the out. Inning over. Brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Well, we head to the bottom of the 5th. San Diego, downtown. What a beautiful spot this is. Petco Park. Carsoup.com trivia, who is the first Brewers pitcher to start and win in his Major League debut? That would be Jim Slayton. That's a good one.
Hey, you weren't far off. 1971. I caught Pops.
Jim Slayton, April 14th of 71, and that was back when the Brewers were in the American League. So if you're talking about Major League debuts, their first win, you had Taylor Youngman, who started on the 9th of June at Pittsburgh, and then last night Lopez. Now remember, Pena won in his debut out of the bullpen against the Cincinnati Reds, even though Pena's currently in the starting rotation.
I was talking to Craig Counsell about you know, which one of these young kids that have come up, you know, in the September call-ups that's impressed you the most, and he said Ariel Pena. He said he's been amazed. He's been very impressed by his stuff, his ability to try and mix in change-ups. His slider's been good, and he's going to get another shot. Got another start coming up.
Council was also praising Jonathan Barrios before the game today. Barrios coming out of the bullpen last night. So there's a lot to be hopeful about in this Brewers system right now. A lot of great young arms. They have really good pitchers with pitchability and velocity and
stuff.
I think the
velocity and movement, that's stuff.
Council has got a lot of things, a lot of high praise for what the Brewers are in their minor league system right now. As Melvin Upton draws a walk, that's a leadoff walk given up by Davies. And Upton aboard twice.
The first time the Padres have had their leadoff hitter aboard. Hey, next Sunday is the Brewers and Cubs at 2 o'clock. And all fans at Miller Park to see the Brew Crew take on the Cubs in the final game of 2015. We get a free Brewers retro knit cap. For tickets, go to brewers.com or call 414-902-4000.
Here's Barmas and a throw to first. Upton is a threat to run. Certainly could be a running situation here. Brewers have had a number of chances to score. Padres have only had a runner in scoring position once tonight. That was back in the second inning. Close play, out at first. Upton is picked off.
Boy, how quick are those feet for Zach Davies?
2 days in a row for Melvin Upton Jr. picked off first base. Wow. Pat Murphy stepped out. They're going to take a look at it here, and he won't even bother with a replay. That is a clear out.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, good throw, good tag, and Melvin Upton making the same mistake 2 nights in a row. Same mistake that Jeanette made.
And a swing and a foul tip into the mid. A strike. It's just hard to believe. It's hard to explain. To get picked off once, maybe. You're a base stealer back-to-back nights. Can't happen.
Concentration is what it is.
Yeah, you're right.
It's been a problem for Upton for a couple of years.
There's a shot of Mark Kotze, the Padre hitting coach. That's a little flare. Jeanette's got a long way to go, and he'll run it down. What a play by Scooter Gennett. Over the shoulder, goes tumbling to the ground. Jeanette for the second out of the inning. Well done.
Yeah, he got a great jump on this baseball right off the end of the bat. And Barmas thinking he's got a base hit, but look at Scooter go back, able to grab it into webbing. And get style points for the landing.
Outstanding play. 2 gone in the inning. Davies will face the Padre catcher, Rocky Gale. 22-year-old Davies. Born in the Seattle area, raised in the Phoenix area. Signed out of high school by the Orioles. Had a full scholarship offer at Arizona State. Decided he would sign out of high school and start his trek to the big leagues, and he's made it here. That tattoo he has on his left forearm is of the Seattle landscape and downtown. And that will do it. So Davies, again, a leadoff walk with a pickoff, ends up as a 3-batter inning. Still scoreless.
As the Brewers and Padres remain scoreless, time to check in with the Brewers community. In support of Sojourner Family Peace Center, the Brewers' wives have released a special line of T-shirts designed specifically for that special lady in your life. These exclusive shirts are available for purchase in the team store by Majestic, and proceeds will support the Sojourner Family Peace Center. B.A.?
All right, Telly, thanks. And the Brewers are coming up at the middle of the order, coming up here in the 6th inning. Adam Lind, Chris Davis, Shane Peterson. Lind is 0 for 2 tonight, a strikeout and a double play ball. He'd like to get a mistake so he can get a run on the board. Scoreless here, Cashner and Davies in a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel.
Yeah, both teams making mistakes. Both teams not taking advantage of opportunities, and yeah, pitchers are the beneficiaries so far tonight.
One ball, one strike on Lind. And a swing and a foul, 1-2 the count.
Big speed difference in fastballs for Cashner, right? I mean, 92 that time, and then he's gotten it up as high as 98. It's a lot for a hitter to be aware of. I mean, that kind of speed differential on the fastball.
There's a shot through, a base hit for Lind. He pulled an outside pitch, but able to find the hole. And the Brewers have a leadoff single here in the 6th inning.
That slider just kind of spun up there, and Lind able to get enough of it. So a leadoff base runner from Milwaukee. Second time they've had a leadoff hitter aboard.
Now to bring up Chris Davis. Cashner struck him out twice. And a little half swing, he goes.
And that's the pitch right there that has been giving him problems. There's something about the delivery for Cashner that Davis is having a difficult time picking up.
Another one blocked by Gale.
He moves around pretty well back behind home plate. You like the way he blocks.
Yeah, you see a catcher with a frame like that, you figure, well, he's got to be quick. I mean, he has to have an asset that helps him catch at this level, and he sure does move around well. There's a shot, base hit through the hole on the left side. Cashner tried to sneak a two-seamer by him, and Davis was ready. Back-to-back singles, both finding the hole. And 2 on with nobody out, with Shane Peterson coming up.
Yeah, there's a case where you're outthinking yourself right there if you're Andrew Cashner. Davis hasn't been able to touch that slider. Tried to get a fastball inside, and Chris ready for it. Knocks it into left field.
Shane Peterson now. We'll see if he's up there to bunt. Now he's hitting 5th in this lineup, which you don't see 5-hole hitters bunt typically. But on a night like this with runners or runs being tough to come by, we'll see. He's a good bunter.
They get into the bottom half of the order after Peterson, but you have a hot hitter in Segura coming up after him.
Peterson did have a double his last time up, and he swings and muscles one foul.
Craig Counsell thinking his best shot is taking 3 opportunities for a base hit as opposed to trying to bunt him over. Brewers have not had a lot of success with the sacrifice bunt as of late. Haven't been able to get him down.
Segura next. Peterson in a 1-1 count. Lind at second, Davis at first. And a swing and a miss. Ball and 2 strikes. Foul ball in and out of the glove of Gale. And the at-bat continues for Peterson. Most games he's ever played in the big leagues this year. He's enjoyed the playing time. He's played well. He's had a good run. He's been good off the bench when called upon.
A lot of guys in this current roster can say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many rookies?
They're just looking for a chance. Brewers have had 12 major league debuts this year. Peterson had made his debut a couple of years ago with Oakland, but only played in 2 games. So he'd never had a major league experience like this.
17 rookies on the current roster. That's a lot.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Peterson trying to deliver the game's first run in the dirt. Another good block back there by Gale.
He just throws that glove right between the legs and gets down on the knees. Doesn't really worry too much about that throwing hand. Sticks it right out there, and he's not trying to catch it at all, just knocking it down. That's good technique.
Like he's riding a bull. He's got that one hand up.
Right.
Waiting for the 8 count.
The other one cinched down. Right down on the ground.
Full count. 1st and 2nd. And wow, Peterson lays off a tough slider. Bases loaded. I think Cashner thought he had a punch out right there. That's a swing and miss pitch normally. Yeah. Peterson with a heck of a take.
Yeah, one of the few times the Brewers have been able to lay off of that pitch.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Brewers knocking at the door here in the 6th inning. Pitching coach Darren Balsley is out. So you get pitches like that without swings. Pitchers start to get real skittish.
They start talking to themselves.
They start thinking maybe somebody's got my signs, or you're tipping pitches or something.
But it's the first time the Brewers have laid off of it. And a lot of swings and misses on that pitch tonight. And Padres going to play the infield in double play depth.
They got Nick Vincent loosening. In the windup goes Cashner with bases loaded. And here is Segura, who gave the Brewers a lead last night in the 6th. Big spot for Gene here. He's a tough guy to double up. Padres are going to take a chance at a double play with their middle infielders. But Segura's speed, he's got to hit it right at an infielder with something on it for you to turn it up on him. Segura on the ground and through, a base hit. Lind will come in to score. Gene Segura delivers with an RBI single. And the Brewers finally score. They lead 1-0 as Segura drives in his 4th run of the series.
Yep, and yet another slider. This one down the middle of the plate. Segura, I think, looking for it because he swung at the first one. Hits it hard into left field, almost too hard to get another run in. Chris Davis held at third base. Gene Segura continues his hot hitting. Another RBI. He had 3 in last night's game.
That is the 3rd ground ball that has found a hole in this series, or in this inning. And now Perez takes strike 1. Hernan, a chance to add to it. Bases loaded, nobody out. 3 hits and a walk to start the inning. Vincent is ready to come in. Two and one.
And pitch count starting to get up there for Andrew Cashner. 94 right now. And he's starting to have a more difficult time finding strike zone. It's amazing. A guy that can throw 98 throws so many sliders. A lot of sliders tonight.
Going upstairs with a fastball. Perez chases. Cashner now taking a lot of time between pitches. Working from the windup with the bases loaded. 2-2 to Perez. Outside a ball. Didn't get him to chase. I guess if you're the Brewers, you see slider spin, right? You're just, okay, if he throws it for a strike, tip your hat.
Yeah, how many times has he thrown it for a strike, right? Everything, pretty much every one of them has been out of the zone.
See what he does. 3-2. Fastball back up the middle and a base hit. Coming in to score, Davis. Right behind him, Peterson. He will score. The throw goes to third. Everybody will advance. Hernan Perez with a 2 RBI single. The Brewers now lead 3-0 and have him at second and third and still nobody out.
Good job by Perez to lay off that slider off the plate. Then Cashner comes back with a fastball. Didn't want to get to a full count. And he bangs that one into center field. Brewers had very good speed on the bases. Davis and Peterson score, and that's going to end the night for Cashner. So the Brewers able to put a 3 spot up and still nobody out.
Third time through the batting order, proving to be the one that chases Andrew Cashner. Hernan Perez with his second hit of the night. 2 runs batted in. Cashner is on his way out. 3-0 Milwaukee. And a pitching change at Petco. Tonight, 3 runs are in. The first 5 batters have reached. 4 hits and a walk, and RBIs from Segura and Perez. Perez just drove in 2 to force a pitching change.
Nick Vincent on for the 25th time. He got called up on September 1st. He was in AAA El Paso. This is the 4th different time he's been with the big league club this year. And you go all the way back to June, mid-June. He hasn't allowed an earned run in each of his last 17 big league outings. Coming in a hornet's nest right now. Brewers already have 3 in, and second and third with nobody out.
Brewers are at the bottom of their order. Perez with a big hit. Got down 2 strikes, worked it into a full count, or a 2-2 count, and then delivers with a 2 RBI single. Second and third, nobody out. Martin Maldonado at the plate. Meanwhile, Zach Davies is pitching a shutout through the first 5 innings and has faced just 2 over the minimum tonight. First ball swinging, Maldonado.
And a lot of sinkers and cutters from Vincent. And a ground ball pitcher, not a big strikeout guy. I've been noticing Laz Diaz out at second base umpire, coaching along the first base umpire, Carlos Torres. Kind of telling him where to go in the event this or that happens. That's you don't see that very often in the big leagues.
Interesting. Mentoring a young umpire.
Right. You got the infield in, a couple of men on. There's Laz Diaz, and he's been motioning over to Torres quite a bit tonight. Trying to help him out, being in the right position.
Oh-2 pitch. Maldonado into right field. That's slicing, and that'll be in the seats. Martin had a single in his first at bat in the second inning. He's 1 for 2. Brewers now have 9 hits, 4 of them in this inning. Still nobody out. Maldonado will be catching the rest of the way. Lucroy had that concussion, even though Lucroy's back and available to pinch hit and play first base. He will not catch the rest of the year. Maldonado glad to have the playing time. Ground ball back up the middle. Another base hit. Segura comes in. Perez right behind him. It's a 2 RBI single. Martin Maldonado, he makes it 5-0.
They just stayed back nicely on that breaking pitch from Vincent. It stayed up. I'm not sure if it was a cutter or a slider. That pitch out away from him, and Maldonado didn't try and pull it and bangs it into center field for a couple of ribbies. And the Brewers with another crooked number, a 5 spot, still nobody out. How about these guys, huh? Swinging the bats.
Now remember that 7-run 9th inning against the Cardinals. Brewers have 5 on the board with a runner at first. And the pitcher Davies coming up, and he's trying to bunt a runner over. That's foul.
So it turned out to be a pretty good night out on the mound for Andrew Cashner. It turns into a 5-run game for him.
How about that? 5 shutout innings, and he's going to walk out of here with 5+ with 5 runs, as the first 6 batters have reached for Milwaukee. 5 hits and a walk. Davies squares early, bunts it foul. The in-game Brewers box score, everybody has a hit already, with the exception of Davies, who reached on an error his last time up in the 5th inning. So everybody's been on base. And spreading the RBI wealth here tonight against Andrew Cashner. Hard to figure how that one got away.
Yep.
Davies bunts it foul, and that'll be a strikeout. The first out of the inning for the Friars. And now Scooter Gennett will bat.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, Cashner, we talked about the fact that he doesn't get a whole lot of run support. Second worst in the NL, actually all of baseball. And the margins are so thin, these guys have to pitch, really fine. They're afraid to give up a couple of runs. They figure that's going to end the night. They're going to end up with a loss, and that's exactly what happened. The Brewers singled Cashner to death here in the 6th.
Did they ever? Lynn, Davis, Segura, Perez, Maldonado, and a lot of those were on 2-strike pitches.
Yeah. Finally laying off that slider.
I thought the key at bat in the inning, though, was the walk by Peterson. That changed the complexion of this inning.
Yeah, that got Cashner scratching his head about that slider that he took. Brewers are swinging at that pitch all night.
Gennett takes a strike. 1-1. Scooter made a beautiful play defensively last inning, taking a hit away from Barmas. Over the shoulder catch on a little flare. And a shot foul. 1-2 on Scooter Gennett. On the ground, the shortstop Barmas is there. A nice flip to Jerko, and the Padres turn a double play to end the inning. That was a well-played, well-turned double play. However, the Brewers put a 5 spot on the board. Segura with his 4th RBI of the series. Perez drove in 2. Maldonado drives in 2. And the Brewers lead it 5-0 going into the home 6th. And they lead it now as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Padres are coming up. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong Fan photo of the game. Don't forget to use that hashtag #WishDataStrongFan like Amy did. Good picture, Amy. I think that's Hank back there.
Yeah, Hank.
The fake Hank.
We haven't seen Hank too much.
Not the real Hank.
I think Hank's going to show up in the last series of the year.
I don't know. He is the dog of the year.
We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him at all.
His appearance fees are much more significant than they were last year.
Higher than yours?
When he would show up for, like some scraps in spring training. Hungry dog. He's looking good now.
All coiffed. Goes to the spa.
Yeah, he does. He hit the doggy lotto.
Yes, he did.
All thanks to Ed Cedar, Brewers' third base coach, who found him last year. Alexi Amarista will lead off for the Friars here. He's pinch hitting for the pitcher, Vincent.
Eddie's a big dog lover, you know.
He is.
Got his Squirt back at home.
That's his dog's name.
Yeah, right.
Not the verb. Best profile in the big leagues right there, Ed Cedar. Ground ball right to Lynn on a hop. And he'll take it to the bag for out number 1.
Hey, the Brewers on deck. 2016 is Sunday, January 31st at the Wisconsin Center in downtown Milwaukee. If you purchase tickets by December 1st, you'll get a free ticket voucher. Good for select 2016 April home games. For details, go to brewers.com/on-deck.
It'll be here before you know it as we hit October tomorrow. Spangenberg fouls it away. The Padres leadoff man tonight. One thing this 5-run lead does for the Brewers, it allows Counsell to maybe push Davies a little bit, see how deep he can go. He had 6 shutout against the Cubs his last time out. His best start as a big leaguer. He's got 5 shutout here tonight. Yeah, maybe see if he can stretch him out. Pitch count's in good shape at 82. Curveball bounce to second base. 2 outs.
Just keeps pouring in the strikes. That's your job after your team gets you a 5 spot. Just keep throwing strikes. Don't walk anybody. Make them hit their way on. Good to see him starting to break out that curveball. He's thrown it a few more times tonight.
He didn't like that one, did he? He snatched the ball out of the air. He didn't like the
hanger, but got away with it. Not all bad pitches are base hits.
Kind of labored through the first 2 innings, but you look at his night tonight, he has only faced 2 over the minimum. He had a walk that ended up as a caught stealing later in the inning, and then gave up a single in the 4th inning. That was wiped out with a double play ball to end the inning. He walked Melvin Upton and then picked him off. So 3 base runners have been eliminated. 2 over the minimum as he faces the number 2 hitter Derek Norris with 2 outs here in the 6th. Yeah, good fastball strike in there. Oh, and 2 the count on Norris. Another fastball pulled foul.
Inside again. Fastballs in and out. Curveballs, changeups. The more you see it, the more you like him. The way he attacks hitters. Not timid at all.
So twice Norris has grounded out. Here's another 0-2 and a changeup. Beauty. Struck him out. Zach Davies putting together a gem here tonight at Petco Park. 6 shutout innings. Uverse rewind. This was a pitcher's duel turned into an offensive explosion for the Brewers. A 5-run 6th inning. Segura drove in the first run with a single, and then Perez with a single to play 2 more. And then the next batter, Martin Maldonado, with a single. 2 more runs coming in, and a 5-run 6th, and a bunch of seeing eye singles that found holes, and the Brewers chasing Andrew Cashner and lead this thing 5-0. Zach Davies is pitching a shutout through the first 6 innings. He has been outstanding.
Yeah, and the Brewers 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position in that 6th inning. As Frank Garces takes over for the 39th time this year. They're called up from AAA El Paso, same ball club that Vincent was on. It's also his 4th time in the big league. So the Padres have been trying to find a combination in that bullpen. A 5.14 earned run average. He had 7 earned runs in 21 2/3 innings in 19 games down in the minor leagues. So he's been back and forth quite a bit.
First man up is Schaefer. First ball swinging. Out number 1. Schaefer with a triple and a walk tonight is retired to start the 7th. Garces. And another lefty coming up in Adam Lind. It's one of those nights, if you're Andrew Kashner, you're looking at the box score in disbelief. He was pretty dominant the first 5 innings.
I think he's done that a lot this year.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, not so much 5 runs allowed. I mean, that was a disappointing 6th inning. But you talk about pitching well, not getting runs, ending up with losses. I mean, a 4.21 earned run average, not too bad these days, especially when you consider he's 6-15. Hey, this Friday the Brewers open up a weekend series against the Cubs, and because it's a student night at Miller Park, all high school and college students can get tickets for just $10. Plus enjoy a special $3 pregame menu. For tickets, go to brewers.com/students.
Don't forget, Sunday's game time is 2 o'clock, not 1 o'clock. That's a 2:10 first pitch. We're on the air at 1:30. And the reason that is, every game on Sunday, every game of the major leagues will start at around 2 o'clock Central, 3 Eastern. So no competitive advantage for all of those teams who are in pennant races or wild card races.
When one team loses, you can save your pitcher if you need that team to lose or you win. Makes sense. I like that rule.
I do too. It's a new rule.
Yeah, this year.
Chris Davis with the shift on, defies it, a base hit. He punches one to the right side, and Davis keeps the inning alive with his 2nd hit.
Didn't hit it hard, but it beats the shift. You can see right off the end of the bat, it's kind of had a funny spin to it, but a base hit nonetheless.
And that'll bring up Shane Peterson.
Turns out to be a good night at the plate for Chris Davis. Started out with a couple of punch outs.
Right, and now he's 2 for 4.
Right.
Helped get a rally going in the 6th inning, and now a 2-out single.
That's what you like about Chris Davis. He can turn things around quickly. It turns out to be a rough night at the plate, turns into a good night at the plate. That's what's great about this game. This keeps coming at you. You got to keep your nose to the grindstone, and what starts out as a bad day could turn into a real good day. And vice versa, for that matter.
Yeah.
You start thinking too much, you got this game licked, it comes back to get you.
2-0 the count on Lind, or rather Peterson, and that one's in there for a strike.
So it's not just day to day. You have a good day at the plate or defensively one day, you come to the ballpark the next day. If you don't keep that same concentration and same focus, this can turn on you quickly.
The best players have the shortest memories for the negative.
And the positive, for that matter. You don't get
it's
too much
point.
of yourself.
No, I agree with you on that.
I mean, what have you done for me lately? What have you done in this at bat? What have you done on this ground ball hit to you? That's how the Hall of Famers think.
Peterson strikes out. Garces with a scoreless 7th inning. Stretch time here in San Diego. Davies coming back out with a shutout. San Diego. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Taylor Youngman tomorrow. Ian Kennedy for the Padres. It'll be their final starts of the season. Youngman trying to be a double-digit winner in the big leagues tomorrow. And note the start time tomorrow. That's 5 o'clock for Brewers Live in the Central Time Zone. And first pitch just after 5:30. Zach Davies has been the story tonight. He's working on a shutout through 6 innings. Getting a lot of outs on the ground. Just 2 fly ball outs tonight. And that one's on the ground. Perez backs up. Long throw is good. And Myers is retired. 1 away here in the 7th inning.
Good movement on that two-seamer. When he gets on top of it, he'll get some tilt on it. That's how he gets the ground ball out.
You love the irony of this game, right? You got Zach Davies and Andrew Cashner. Cashner 6'5", big, strong Texan, 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And here's Davies, 6 foot, 155 pounds. Looks like he's 15, and he's dominating a big league lineup tonight.
It's like David against Goliath, right?
Yeah. Just goes to show you. That's the beauty of the game. All shapes and sizes.
It's not about velocity all the time. It's not about who's the bigger or stronger, but Zach Davies, that great command tonight. He's given up, the 3 hits, and every one of the 3 hits have come when he's been behind in the count.
He's been able to wipe out a lot of base runners tonight. Had a pick off. There was a caught stealing, a double play ball. And there's that changeup. That has been a difference maker tonight. Padre hitters cannot see it. It spins like a fastball. It looks like a fastball. Just comes in there slower. There's another one. And a swing and a miss. Jankowski is out. Strikeout number 6.
This is the way he pitched against the Marlins. It seemed to be coming to him easily. It's anything but the way he does it, it looks like it's simple. Good command on the corners, keeps it down in the zone. Sounds easy, but it's not.
93 pitches. Well, if he can get this hitter, Jerko, he could have a chance to come back out for the 8th. That's right past his glove. Here's Jeanette and Segura. Neither one can make the play. And Davies is going to be kicking himself here. That was an out for him.
He should have had it.
Jerko reaches on an infield hit.
And he's upset with himself. He knows he had one that maybe misjudged the speed coming back at him and just missed it.
That baseball touched 3 defenders right there. I think Davies got a little piece of it. Segura got a little piece of it, and Jeanette tried to barehand it.
Unfortunately, Lynn did not get a piece of it.
So 2 outs, and here's Melvin Upton Jr. And he lines one left field. That is fair. Bounces off the wall and up and out. That's a break for the Brewers. That'll be a ground rule double. And Upton is aboard for the 3rd time, his 2nd hit. But Jerko has to stop at third base as that bounced out of here.
And that's the way it goes. We were just talking about how this game can get you. You make one mistake, Davies not able to grab that comebacker. And all of a sudden, with the double by Upton, the Padres are in a position to get right back into the ball game just like that. It happens that quickly.
Corey Knebel begins to get loose. 2 outs, 2 on now. 2nd and 3rd. Here is Clint Barmas. Barmas has the only 2 outs in the air tonight. That one's on the ground right to Perez. Boy, Davies making it look easy here. Gives up a couple of hits, comes right back on 1 pitch, retires Barmas. 7 shutout for the rookie Davies. Line for Zach Davies. What a performance tonight. Hey, you can vote for your MVP and help us decide which Fox Sports Supports partner will be crowned the winner. The charity with the most votes at the end of the Brewers season will score big from a donation by Hubie and Abraham. Choose from American Heart Association of Wisconsin, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee, or Fisher House, Wisconsin. To vote, visit foxsportswisconsin.com/supports. Well, you're getting some congratulations down there, and Zach Davies' final start in the big leagues this year is a dandy. And how about the fact that he goes 13 scoreless innings in his last 2 starts?
That's going to have a nice feeling for him throughout the offseason, and it'll give a pretty good feeling for the Brewers about him as well. Outstanding work. That brings his earned run average down to 371 as Jay Jackson takes over. Jackson in his 5th appearance. Yeah, Jackson was picked up by the Padres on September 14th. And the first time he's been in the major leagues. For the Padres anyways, now made 4 career major league appearances.
All right, here's Segura to start it. Segura with an RBI in the 6th that began the 5-run outburst for Milwaukee. All the runs in this game coming in the 6th inning, and they all scored before there was an out in the 6th inning.
Pretty good line for Davies. 96 pitches, 62 strikes.
7 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and no runs. And those last 2 starts dropping his ERA from 6 down to 3.71.
He's trying to keep that smile back, but hard to do.
Just think about his year and the whirlwind season that it is. Davies began the year AAA with the Orioles. He's only 22. That's young to be in AAA. And he earns a spot on the Futures team roster, pitching for the United States at the All-Star festivities. A great honor. While a member of the Orioles organization, is Segura into left center. And Myers will give way to Upton for the first down. And then Davies looking at that Baltimore rotation, wondering how he's going to be able to push his way to the big leagues. And then a trade happens. Gerardo Parra traded to the Orioles. Davies is the one coming back. And now the door's wide open for him. Goes to AAA with the Brewers. A few starts down there. Gets a call up to the big leagues in early September. And now his season is over. And from where it started in spring training with the Orioles to the major leagues with the Brewers.
And 3 big league wins under his belt.
And an ERA sub-4.
Well, let's back off. Possible 3 big league wins. Kind of jumping the gun. Not over yet.
Talking to Jorge Lopez, who got his first major league win last night. Said, yeah, man, we're only 22, but we're winning in the big leagues. It's easy.
Far cry from where the Brewers were roster-wise to on opening day.
Yeah.
Think about all the young kids in that dugout right now, and they're playing some pretty good baseball.
Yeah, playing hard. Tell you, that game on Sunday in St. Louis was one to remember there. Brewers were down 3-1. Looked like the game was over. Jason Rogers hits a grand slam to give him the lead. Davis hit another homer. They scored 7 runs in the inning. Perez with a base hit to right. Yeah, he keeps it going. Hernan Perez with his 3rd hit of the night after driving in 2 big ones in the 6th inning. He's 3 out of 4.
Good approach, 2 hits to center field, 1 to right. Didn't try to pull the ball too much. Played a nice 3rd base. Not to be encouraged about with this ball club, these guys that you see on the field right now. Guys young, hungry, giving a good effort. They're making some mistakes, but that's to be expected.
Maldonado hits one sharply to left, and Myers will make the play. Reached up at the last moment to take an extra base hit away from Maldonado. 2 outs in the inning.
Maldi, another guy swinging the bat with some authority. Ready with a couple of hits. Hit that one hard.
Two outs in the inning. And we'll have a pinch hitter here. Jonathan Lucroy will bat. I hear some Luke chants out there. A lot of Brewers fans in the ballpark at Petco. There always are, because of the military bases have a lot of Wisconsin natives. And they come out to see the Brewers. We love coming here.
Saw a bunch of them in the Gaslamp District today, and down at Seaport Village. It's a good walking town, you know.
Monday was an off day. We went to a restaurant bar for the Packers Monday Night Football game, and it was packed.
Yeah.
Full of Packers fans. And one Chiefs fan in the corner.
With us.
Poor guy. Yeah, there's a strong Wisconsin connection here in San Diego. What a great place to watch a game. They drew 30,000 tonight. Paid attendance 30,514. Had 36,000 last night, and they're expecting a big crowd for their finale, their final home game tomorrow.
About 500 of them were the kids' choir out on the field for the singing the national anthem. It had to be, what, 300-400 kids?
So all the way from left center to right center on the outfield warning track. It's the biggest national anthem choir I've ever seen.
Yeah.
0-2 to Lucroy. And down he goes. That's a good slider there. The inning is over. The Brewers fail to score. They lead 5-0. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th at Petco.
We just had a couple of days ago. Brewers up 5-0. Let's check out Zach Davies' night. Our Marshfield Clinic's shining moment of the game. He was outstanding tonight. 7 shutout innings. He was working both sides of the plate very well. He was able to get some strikes early in the game, got him some confidence, mixed in some curveballs. The changeup was very good. There's that curveball I was talking about. So Zach Davies, his last couple of starts, 13 scoreless innings. 6 against the Cubs and 7 tonight against the Padres. Well done.
Yeah, his last 3 starts, he goes 6, 6, and 7. What kind of gibbous did you say that was?
Waning. We were getting away from, remember the supermoon we were talking about?
This one, the moon's the closest
right,
to the Earth.
That has nothing to do with the gibbuses. Gibbuses.
The supermoon means it's close.
Close to the Earth. A full moon, when it's closest to the Earth, Earth's orbit.
But the gibbuses are
it's
where
either before or after a full moon.
I see. It's fascinating. How about Corey Knebel, Rock?
I have no idea. 48th appearance for Corby. Corey Knebel, a 3.28 earned run average. I know about Gibbs's, but Corey, you got to look him up a little bit.
You know everything you need to know.
Last pitch on Sunday against the Cardinals, a scoreless inning, included a walk or a hit and a strikeout. You can see Knebel, 57 strikeouts this year.
And the first man up is Rocky Gale, and that's his first big league hit. So in his first major league start, look at the Padre dugout. They'll save that baseball.
Well, got a fastball, hit it hard into left, and that's one he'll never forget. He's hoping the first of many.
And the old trick, throw the ball up into the crowd. That's the dummy ball, though. That's not the real ball. Nobody really falls for that anymore, but it's almost like you have to do it.
It's funny for us to talk about.
We're still amused by it. So his first big league hit. Cody Decker will pinch hit. Decker still looking for his first major league hit. Remember that prank last year on Jeff Francoeur when he was playing in El Paso? It was a couple of years ago, actually. And they told Francoeur that there was a player who was hearing impaired, and Francoeur just assumed that was the case, and he did a little video message for him, and he was talking about how amazing it is that this guy is hearing impaired, but he plays, and you would never know that he's a hearing impaired player. And you remember that whole bit,
yeah.
That practical joke?
Yep,
well,
yep.
that was the brainchild of this guy, Cody Decker.
Cody Decker.
Long-time catcher in the minor leagues, getting his first chance in the big leagues. And a ground ball to third. Perez to second. Out there, out at first. And a double play. 5-4-3 it goes.
Yeah, second double play turn by the Brewers. Both started by Hernan Perez at third base. Had a fastball, hit it hard, but Perez able to turn the 5-4-3 double play. It's kind of the way it's going. A lot of infield work for the Brewers tonight, with Knebel getting the ground ball and Zach Davies. Turning double plays and getting base hits. It's a good night for Perez.
No doubt. Perez, 3 hits, 2 RBIs, had 2 ribbies in the 6th, the second and third runs of that inning. Only scoring inning of the game, but Brewers are 4 outs away from a shutout in this one. Boy, that Astros-Mariners game is something to watch. That game is now tied again, 6-6. It was 2-0 Mariners. Astros came back to tie it. Then it was 6-3 Mariners. Astros came back to tie it again. A lot of zeros other than that crooked number in the 6th inning for the Brewers, which appears to be the decisive inning again. Last night the Brewers got a 2-run homer from Segura in the 6th inning. That gave them the lead, and that's how the game would end up. 4-3 final.
The Brewers had 2 in the first and 2 in the 6th in last night's game.
And Segura's got 4 runs batted in this series. Spangenberg tonight is 0 for 2. He has a walk. He was one of the base runners eliminated. He was caught stealing in the 3rd inning. Zach Davies faced just 4 over the minimum tonight in his 7 shutout innings. Four to go after this one tonight. One more here in San Diego tomorrow, late afternoon, early evening back in Milwaukee, and then 3 at home against the Cubs to finish the year. Spangenberg draws a walk. By the way, the Cubs won again today. They beat the Reds. Reds have lost 11 straight.
Yeah.
Lester got the win today for Chicago. He's tuning up for a potential postseason start. Cubs are going to be in that wild card game. Right now they're going to be traveling to Pittsburgh. Cardinals clinched the division today with their 100th victory of the season. They beat the Pirates in the second game of a doubleheader to clinch their 3rd straight division title. Dodgers clinched last night. Blue Jays, Cardinals clinching today. But that American League West and the American League wild card looks like it's going to come right down to the end. Strike 2 on Norris.
Curveball, then fastball. Fastball in after the curveball. Very effective pitch. Now bounce that curveball in the dirt here.
Shook off to get that curveball. Oh, did he go? Did not. Good pitch. Right where he wanted it. Right where you wanted it.
I used to call games for a living, you know. Not many, but I called a few.
Did you ever catch a no-hitter, Rock? 1-2 on Norris. 2 outs, runner at first. And a swing and a miss. He went upstairs with a fastball and struck him out. To the 9th we go. Brewers shutting out the Friars tonight, 5-0. The end of the night. It's a long night there.
It's late, yeah.
Early morning, late night, early morning.
Midnight.
Yeah. All right, Bud Norris is on the mound for the San Diego Padres.
Last time the Padres back on August 11th appeared in 18 games, 11 starts for the Orioles this year. And he was 2-9 with a 7.06 earned run average before being released. I'll tell you, this guy had a good future ahead of him when he was with the Astros.
I mean, he pitched well for the Orioles last year as well. They went into the postseason with Norris.
Yeah. Rough season, got released, and now with the Padres in the bullpen.
30-year-old Bud Norris on the mound for the 9th in a 5-0 Brewers lead. Norris was a 15-game winner last year for Baltimore. At a 3.65 ERA. Was an integral part of their postseason team last season. Pitched in the postseason last season. Actually beat the Tigers in the division series. He went 6 1/3 scoreless in his start in the DS. That was a sweep of the Tigers by the Orioles. Made a start in the ALCS last year against the Royals. Took a no decision in that one, and then things just unraveled. You have to think there's injury involved in something like that.
Yeah, a guy like that did such a good job for you last year. You wonder why you would release him, give up on him, maybe stick him in the bullpen. But the Orioles had different plans, and now he's with San Diego. I always thought he had great stuff with the Astros when he pitched against the Brewers, but always seemed to make a mistake, but really never got a whole lot of run support. Has a good arm, throws hard. Good breaking pitch. Just couldn't get it together this year.
Signed a contract this offseason at around $9 million and ended up being designated for assignment right there at the trade deadline. That's going to sneak through a base hit. Boy, Jerko with no range at second base. That's a single. Jeanette will take it.
Yeah, not running very well on the bases. Remember, he got doubled up at the plate early in the game and really wasn't getting down the line very well. Not much range on that. That looked like a sure out, but into right field.
Brewers have been finding the holes tonight. Been one of those nights offensively. Most of the hits are ground balls that have either gone up the middle or in each of the holes. A 5-run 6, the difference in this one. Logan Schaefer now.
Yeah, 13 hits for the Brewers, 11 of them singles. Schaefer a triple, Peterson a double. Everything else singles.
Still has good life on that fastball. Norris's old team, the Astros, have taken the lead in Seattle. 7-6, they're on top now. Ground ball, first base. That's Decker over there now. Norris is there for him, out number 1. Jeanette advances, but 1 away here in the 9th. That's a huge game for the Astros. That stigma of not being able to win on the road, that would be their second win in this series in Seattle. Carlos Gomez has been a big part of the comeback tonight. Gomez has 2 hits. One of them was a bunt single. He's been hurt, but back the last couple of days and starting to contribute for Houston. Adam Lynn takes a ball.
Hey, talk about Houston on the road. They're 17 games under 500.
Doesn't make sense.
Away from home. I mean, still in the pennant race. I mean, that's amazing.
There's still a chance to win a division.
Right. They're 53-28 at home.
Now they're chasing the Rangers, who won tonight. Texas jumping all over Detroit. Giovanni Gallardo started for the Rangers tonight and won his 13th game of the year. He's 13-11 with a 3.42 ERA. He's having a real good year for the Rangers. And Texas is sitting pretty as the division leader right now. Even with an Astros win, the Rangers are up 2.5 games on Houston. The Angels lost tonight to Oakland. So Houston could jump into the second wild card spot with a victory, and yet still 2.5 back of Texas and 3 in the loss column. And the Twins are in there as well. It would be just a game back.
Yep, split a doubleheader today.
Fun to watch. Twins will play Cleveland tomorrow. Rangers have the Angels starting that weekend series. Lind, a high fly ball into left center. That's going to stay playable for Upton. Jeanette will tag and stop. And the second out. Here comes Chris Davis. Don't forget, we got an unusual start time tomorrow. So we're on the air tomorrow at 5 o'clock Central Time. First pitch at 5:40. A 3:40 local start here in San Diego, and then the Brewers are headed home. Last 3 games of the year against the Cubs. Ariel Pena, Tyler Wagner, and Jorge Lopez will be the 3 pitchers. Jake Arrieta is supposed to throw Friday, which would set him up to pitch in the wild card game.
Yeah, not sure how long he's going to pitch on Friday. But he's worth the price of admission, that guy.
For sure. 21 wins, a 1.82 ERA.
That's the best pitch game we've seen all year.
He's the player of the week in the National League with his 2 starts, the one against the Brewers and then his last start.
And to start this road trip. In the beginning of the road trip in Chicago. You believe it was Chicago to start this trip? Ends up being 10 games in 11 days for the Brew Crew.
3 different start times on the homestand. Friday night, 7:10 first pitch. Saturday, 6:10, an hour earlier. And then unusual start time Sunday. Instead of 1:10 like normal, it's a 2:10 start. 2 o'clock start in Milwaukee on Sunday. Adjust your dials. Or just get an extra hour of tailgating. That's probably the best way to go.
Or sleep.
Maybe.
After a good night out in Milwaukee on Saturday night. On Friday night, too.
Get to see Jorge Lopez again, the Brewers minor league pitcher of the year Sunday. No reason not to come, Rock. That's my point.
Oh, I'll be there.
I'll be there. We'll all be there. Swing and a miss. Down goes Davis. The inning is over, and we're headed to the bottom of the 9th. Last call for the Padres. That's awesome. That's a nominee for Baby of the Year right there. Well done. Got the hat on, the slobber rocking. Brewers baseball presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Beautiful Petco Park in San Diego. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Peterson has now moved to left field. That is because Counsell has sent Michael Reed to play right field. So the Brewers upgrade their outfield defense. 3 outs to get, and a shutout on the line. Tyler Thornburg, the third Brewers pitcher, trying to bring them home tonight.
Yeah, trying to get this one done quickly. Last pitched on the 21st, so it's been a while for Tyler. It's been almost 10 days, and tossed an inning and a third, perfect innings. That was against the Cubs, stranded a couple of inherited base runners. Has thrown the baseball pretty well in 17 appearances since his call-up. A 3.04 earned run average.
Just celebrated his 27th birthday yesterday, Tyler Thornburg. Happy belated birthday. The Georgia native facing Will Myers to start the inning.
Another guy with a good changeup.
With a win tonight, the Brewers will assure they will not finish in last place in the division, which is something. It's not much, but it's something.
Nobody wants to finish last.
The Reds have that bottled up after they lost their 11th consecutive game today against the Cubs. Ooh, good curveball. Wow. Where did that miss? Two and two the count. Count goes full. Zach Davies went 7 shutout tonight. Finishes his season with 13 consecutive scoreless innings.
There's only going to be one team with 100 wins. That's the Cardinals. They've already done that. Looks like there's only one team with a chance to lose 100. That's the Phillies. Nobody ever wants to lose 100 either.
And Myers draws the walk. So a leadoff walk. Don't want to give the Padres any life here. Got a nice lead, 5-0. Try to finish this one off. Thornburg frustrated with himself. He'll face Jankowski now. Jankowski was a sub for Justin Upton, who injured himself in the first inning, crashing into the wall on a Logan Schaefer base hit. Ended up as a triple for Schaefer. But as Upton fielded the base hit down the line, he crashed into the wall in an awkward collision with his head. Had to come out of the game in the top of the first. So no Matt Kemp, no Justin Upton in the lineup tonight, essentially.
They went in there hard. And Tyler Thornburg just can't find home plate. That's a last thing you want to see with a 5-0 lead in the ninth. Perez coming in, Maldonado coming in, urging him to throw the ball over the plate. Been a while for him, 9 days. Might have something to do with it.
Two balls, no strikes. Travis Jankowski. This guy can fly. 2 years ago in A-ball, he stole 71 bases. Lake Elsinore. Getting some playing time here in September. And Thornburg walked him on 4 pitches. Well, it's 5-0, but the Padres have 2 on to start this 9th inning and nobody out, and guess who's warming up?
Yeah.
the tying run moves into the on-deck circle, it becomes a save situation.
2 more base runners. Not much you can say. I mean, you got to throw strikes. Not much anybody can do if you're not throwing the ball over the plate.
And a good pitching coach will make you feel like he's right there in it with you. That could be a lonely place on that mound.
But you know what a pitching coach would love to say.
Jerko. There's a strike. Jerko is a good hitter, but a double play candidate. Has 2 hits and a double play tonight.
Hey, actually, 1 more base runner because of save opportunity. I said 2, but 1. Tying run on deck.
The change up there by Thornburg. It's a good idea. Take a shot at it.
Yeah, you know that Jerko's thinking fastball. Everybody else was. Pulled the string on him.
One and 2 the count. And a ground ball foul. Now Thornburg trying to get that ground ball double play. The Brewers have turned a number of double plays tonight. Had one in the 4th. Another double play around the horn in the 8th. They've had a runner picked off and a runner caught stealing. 1 and 2 the count. And that misses badly. Fastball. He's battling. He's trying. Back-to-back walks. 2-strike pitch again. Foul ball out of play.
Try and get one of those change-ups over the plate. Might get that double play.
These 2 guys are the same age. Almost shared birthdays. Jerko pops this one up. Maldonado. Foul territory. And he's got it for the first out. So a good sequence there for Thornburg.
And it was a change-up.
And a foul pop for out number 1. Now a ground ball double play would be nice. Put this one away. Here's Melvin Upton Jr., who has not been retired tonight. He's been swinging early in the count. 2 hits and a walk. Both of his hits were on the first pitch. And that misses badly. Runners on their way. Both will advance. Wild pitch.
It's one thing, to be missing around the strike zone. Another thing to be missing as badly as Thornburg has in this appearance. And I know it's been 9 days between outings for Tyler, but boy, to miss that badly. I'm not sure how you can He'll account for that.
So second and third now. Now the shutout in danger. And a swing and a miss by Upton. Boy, that was right in his wheelhouse.
Yes, it was. Just up a little bit too much for Upton. That's good news for Thornburg.
In the air, foul territory. Going to be tight. That one is out of reach, on top of the dugout. One and two the count on Upton. Don't forget, Brewers Live coming your way after the game. Jeff and Davey will have it for you. Davey's throwing down his last cup of coffee right now. He's going to be fired up.
Be up all night.
1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. He struck him out on a changeup. A beauty. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, Upton had a couple of fastballs to hit, and then Thornburg goes to change up. Big movement on it that time, and Upton trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Swings over the top of it. 1 out away.
So the Padres down to their last out. So Larte is going to pinch hit for him. Young Harris was the starter last night over at third base. So he's the last hope. 2 out there, second and third. 2 men are out. Brewers trying to shut out the Padres tonight. Zach Davies started when 7 shutout. Pitched very well. He's in line for the win. Knebel had a scoreless 8th with a strikeout. And now Thornburg, and that changeup's going now. That's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. If the Brewers can finish it off, it'll be the 7th shutout. Missed with it. 3-1. Tell you, a base runner is going to create a save situation for Frankie Rodriguez.
And he'll be coming in. 1 more pitch out of the strike zone.
He's had more 1-out saves than he'd like to count. They all count, but that means somebody's not getting the job done prior to him. He's ready. See if Thornburg can finish it off right here. 3-1 pitch in there. A strike. 3-2 now. Don't blame Solarte for taking there.
No. Now, if you're Thornburg, you got to throw the ball over the plate. You just don't want to walk another guy. Make him hit his way on. Save K-Rod for tomorrow.
So, full count pitch and a swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Thornburg struggles with his command, but after 2 walks to start the inning, he finishes it off. And the Brewers, on a 5-run 6th inning, hang on to win 5-0. Terrific night from Milwaukee. Zach Davies with a victory. His 3rd 7 shutout innings. And the Brewers are shaking hands once again. Their 68th win of the year. Jeff Grayson is standing by. We're ready for Brewers Live. Take it away, Jeffrey.